Hi, my name is Dr. Devin Vrana, and Dr. Lynette asked me to be a part of today with all of you. While I'm unfortunately not going to be able to make it in person, she invited me to share just a few words to talk about a concept that we use in chiropractic called the big idea. First of all, I am a woman, I am a wife, I am a mother, I have 2-year-old twins, I have 7-year-old twins, and I have a 14-year-old. I have opened 2 chiropractic offices, one with my husband, one on my own. I teach, I write, I speak, I study. I love life. I grew up in a pretty traditional household. My dad was an accountant. My mom worked in criminal justice. They were phenomenal parents. I had lots of options. A small town girl from Andale, Kansas. I had lots and lots of opportunities. I didn't quite know what I wanted to do with my life. I was pre-med, pre-dentistry. I shadowed. I just couldn't find that thing. And then as fate would have it, I ended up in college serving tables, waited on a chiropractor. It'd never been adjusted. In my mind, it was about neck pain, back pain. I'd heard of it, but I'd never been. But there was something about the way he interacted with that table. He paid for the bill. He seemed like the life of the party. And everyone kind of turned to him. He just had a certain light about him. And I asked him when he closed out his tab, so what do you do? I'm a chiropractor. And it opened Pandora's box for me. So I looked into it. I went to a discovery day, and they were talking about these concepts that weren't about neck pain. They weren't about back pain, but the president of the college, Dr. Carl Cleveland in Kansas City, third generation chiropractor whose family actually pioneered the way for chiropractic, spoke about concepts where the body heals itself, that there's a light, that there's a source, that the brain communicates with the body, that if you cut your finger, it knows how to heal itself, that we start as sperm and egg and come together in our mother's womb, and from 2 cells turns into what you're looking at today. What is that force? What is that life? What is that intelligence that knows how to heal the finger, to grow the human? And I found myself longing and wanting more. And I called my mom. I said, Mom, I want to be a chiropractor. She thought I lost my mind. She said, Devin, you've never been to a chiropractor. I said, I know. But they're speaking about this truth. Something I've known, but I couldn't put a name to. Well, I've gotten to fall in love with chiropractic just like that, over and over and over again. In my own personal life, in my practical life, in the hands-on experiences that I've gotten to share with babies and children and pregnant women, athletes, men, women, fathers, wives, grandparents, people that are vibrantly healthy, that are training for marathons and triathlons and just want to squeeze performance, people that are sick and suffering, dying. I've held women, men on hospice in my hands and helped check their nervous system. Now, I don't know who in this audience is familiar with chiropractic or seen a chiropractor. And maybe you went for headaches, or maybe you went for neck pain, back pain. Maybe you're familiar with what it is I'm talking about right now. I know this thing, this special something, as the big idea. The big idea is the simplest of ideas. It's that we do operate with an intelligence within. And it's changed my life. And I am grateful to be an American citizen at this time in history. We have technology and advances in surgery and in medicine and in emergency care. And we have forgotten some of the simple things. And chiropractic is rooted in principle based on those simple things. The big idea is that healing happens from this intelligence within. And that if you allow it time to adapt, and if you clear out areas where we hold stress within our physical, emotional, mental, spiritual body, then we are connected to that source at a higher vibration, so we can heal faster and we can experience life at a higher vibration. I don't know if any of you have heard that before. I hope you have, but if you haven't, you have now. And I hope that you don't shrug it off. I hope that you lean in a little bit and go, really? What is she talking about? Tell me more. See, my son, he was my first miracle experience with chiropractic. But it didn't happen until he was a little over 2 years old. See, I was young when I had him. And I can remember going into labor. And I didn't know when you go to the hospital. I wasn't prepared. And I went and I wasn't quite ready. They sent me home. The labor itself was 26 hours long. I was tired. I didn't understand. I finally, the contractions doubled up on top of each other. And I was like, somebody get me an epidural. Which sounded great, and instantly I had pain relief, but then something else happened. I became disconnected from those contractions. I became disconnected from the messages that my body was trying to send me to put me further into labor. I'm very sensitive to medications, and the epidural, my legs actually went numb, and his heart rate started to fall, and I started to fever, and they had to prop my legs and hold me up and say, push, push. And she said, I'm going to give you one more chance, and we're going to have to go for a C-section. And they pulled out the salad spoons, the forceps, and they pulled him out. And he didn't breathe, and he was blue. But I was still vomiting, and I remember looking up, and I'm waiting for that cry. And it didn't come, and then people are tending to me, but I'm watching him. And they're weighing him and patting him, and finally he breathed. Took a breath. And then here I am young, and I'm a new mother, and there's so many things I don't know. And he was about 6 weeks old, and I was changing his diaper, and he just had, something didn't seem right. And I went to change his diaper one night, and when I went to lift his legs, he arched back, and he passed out. And I remember screaming, Mom, Dad. And they came running. And I held this lifeless little baby in my arms, and what do I do? What do I do? I called 911, and by the time 911 got there, he had come back to. He just passed out, held his breath. It became a series of things that Roman would do. And we did testing, blood work. It got chalked up to he just had a bad temper. It got passed off, but my intuition said, I don't know that that's the whole story. Something else is going on. And he started to have ear infections. I'm like, why is this happening? Why isn't he thriving? Why does he hold his breath? Why does he turn blue? Why does he pass out in my arms? What's happening? And you fast forward till he's about 2.5, and I'm a year into chiropractic school, and someone says, have you had him adjusted? I'm like, you're crazy. He's a kid. And I'm in chiropractic school at that point, but I was just learning. Remember, I told you my story. I didn't grow up that way. And so I thought they were crazy. But I met this kind woman, and I decided that she was safe enough to try. And I remember she would hold his head in her hands, and she looked at me and she said, do you have ear infections? And I kind of sat back. What does that have to do? How did you know that? She said, was he a C-section? Was there trauma in his birth? How do you know? How do you know that? Why are you touching his neck? How do you know that? And she said, well, see, what happens sometimes in birth, there's strain and stress in the neck. And it can cause dysfunction and irritation within the nerve. There's actually this nerve called the vagus nerve. And she explained to me a concept, the big idea that the brain and the body were connected. But if there's obstructions, there would be irritation, there would be symptoms, there would be dis-ease within the body. As he got adjusted, he quit holding his breath. He began to sleep better. He's not ever had an ear infection since then. His balance became better. His color in his face was different. Now, of course, I'm a chiropractor, so you can say, oh, she's crazy. I'm a mom first. And no one can take the story. No one can take what I saw in that birth. No one can take what it was like holding a 6-week-old baby lifeless in my hands. The big idea is that in the brain and body communication, often symptoms aren't always this alarm system that something needs fixed or is broken, but that there's dis-ease, that there's disconnection within the system. And so as I saw what happened to Roman and began to experience what was happening within me, it opened up so many possibilities. So the big idea is that intervention can be simple and doesn't need to be complex when we turn to the body and this intelligence. There's so much there. That's freedom to me as a mother. It's made for so many interesting conversations with my children. They trust their bodies. We have conversation. Where does thought come from? How does your body know to grow hair? Oh, you jammed your finger. How does it know how to fix that? You have a cut on your knee. How does it know how to fix that? Where do those impulses come from? And so growing up in our family, the children, the parents, the families, the men and women that I take care of in my practice, yes, they come in with neck pain, back pain, headaches, colic, constipation, ear infection. They come in with symptoms because in our society, when we have these things we want fixed, we take them to somewhere and we say, fix me. But in my practice and in my life with my own family and with the families I'm gifted the chance to take care of, we talk about the concept of the big idea and say, I'm here to help serve you. I'm here to find and locate any type of interference between your brain and body and its electrical system so that the impulses can fire just a little bit better. And so maybe, yes, your pain will get better. I'd like to help move things around. We can relieve pressure and irritation. So yes, I hope that pain gets better, but I also hope that we can restore proper connection and flow in your nervous system. And so I don't know how I did today. And I don't know how this is going to hit you. But this message is for moms in the room, because what I would give for someone to have spoke up and said something to me, because from the time he first came into this world to being 6 weeks old and for 2 years of searching for an answer and feeling like a failure as a mother, if someone would have told me, hey, have you heard about chiropractic? Have you heard about the concept of the big idea? How many things would have been different? I don't know. It's put me on a mission. And so I'm thankful for a moment in time through this camera to just talk to you as a woman. Maybe there's a dis-ease in you that you tried medication for. Maybe you don't sleep great. Maybe stress adds up on you. Maybe the change of seasons has you down. Maybe your immune system just can't get over the hump. Maybe your children have had a tough time. Maybe there's something there that intuitively you know there could be a fix out there for. Something simple, turning on a switch. I don't know how this lands with you. For my job, the gift of paying back all that chiropractic has brought to my life, to my family, to Roman and all of my children, to what I've gotten to experience with the practice that I serve. It becomes my duty to share that message with all of you. My name is Dr. Devin Vrana, a chiropractor in Wichita, Kansas. Dr. Lynette Hendrickson is one of my mentors, my friends, my colleagues, my heroes. Not just for who she is in chiropractic, but the way that she moves in the world. She loves life. If you get close enough to her, you'll see a light in her eyes. There's no mistake there. That's the big idea. When the brain and body are connected, when you are a human expressing your fullest potential, there's a different light about you. And Lynette has that something. So I'm going to pass it on to her And I hope that I'll get to physically be in the space with you. She's talked so highly about this group. And again, I'm so sorry I can't be there. And I hope that something, anything that I opened up in this discussion today gets you thinking. Open something up. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I hope I get a chance to meet with all of you soon. Thank you so much.